Today I fucked up by inviting a random Tinder girl over. So this happened yesterday night. I've been back in my small hometown for the past few months since the pandemic started. I've gotten extremely bored, so I thought I'd install Tinder. A few days go by and I get a match with this girl. Let's call her Q. We text about 4 messages, move over to Instagram, and talk for a few more messages, after which I start jokingly flirting about her coming over that night. I didn't mean it as an invitation. Q starts bragging about giving great head, about how much she missed having wild sex and how much she wanted to fuck. I play along and flirt right back and didn't really give it much thought and go back to my remote work. Around 1 AM. While I was still working, I get a text from her: "I'm in the area, I will be at your apartment in 10 minutes. I laugh and text back, "Yeah, super." Now let me be clear, I never sincerely expected a girl to come from the other side of the town to a stranger's house to get fucked. Yet she's actually at my apartment. What do? The room's messy, I'm extremely tired and I'm in my freaking pajamas. I play along and just say fuck it, we'll work it out. She comes into my house. She's nothing like what I expected from all of her photos. Q takes a smoke and starting being extremely loud and talking about the last TV series she watched. Her entire personality and look is the exact opposite of what I have been led to believe. Now I had a problem, a female problem inside my house. Since she came all the way over to my house, I tell myself let's at least have some wild sex. So I start trying to flirt, get touchy, and be playful, but she responds to none of my advances. She actually blurts out, "Just so you know, I didn't intend to be having sex." So now I have a female problem which doesn't want to have sex, but neither does she respond to my subtleties of her having to leave, so I play the ugly card, being rude. I start chipping away at every single detail I could think of that I could make a rude remark about regarding her body and personality, yet she actually starts talking more and more. And so it kept going for an hour and a half, me literally lying down in my bed and being half asleep, her talking her lungs out and neither of us getting sexed. I think I stared at my wristwatch for about 15 minutes until she actually felt that she wasn't wanted and finally decided to leave. I deleted Tinder after that. Too long didn't read, got a match on Tinder. The girl actually came over while I didn't expect her to. We didn't have sex, but she didn't feel like leaving either, so I spent 2 hours trying to get her to leave. You really ought to learn to say, "I don't feel any chemistry. I'm sorry, but I think you should go now." Hey Skyrim, you need to leave. Why would you give her your address if you weren't down to do the business? I'm confused as to why he gave her the address but they hadn't made plans. Like he just randomly threw his address out to a stranger. Edit, a word. You know, instead of insulting someone you can just say you are tired and ask them to leave. Don't be ridiculous, that might hurt their feelings. Nope, the kindest way is to insult them. Why would you resort to insulting her? All you had to do was ask her to leave. Because this isn't a real story. It's make-believe. A work of fiction. Some pathetic teenager's mind at what to think would happen on a Tinder date. Honestly, this story, while certainly not the worst, is the last straw for me. Fuck this sub. It's clear that there's no moderator interactions anymore and 99% of stories are made up cause people think karma validates their lives. I'm out. Hope this sub rots. I start chipping away at every single detail I could think of that I could make a rude remark about regarding her body and personality. I was feeling bad for you until I read that. If you are gonna hate on her anyways, just tell her to GTFO and that you weren't serious about inviting her over, or say, "Look, it's late. I invited you over for a hookup, but if we aren't gonna fuck, I have work to do and then need to go to sleep." Mind you, I don't think that's very nice either, but it's better than trying to belittle her until she leaves on her own. Like, WTF? That's some psychopathic shit father. I lost patience when he said I joked about her coming over, and in your joke you managed to give her your address. Okay bud, and then he was like, "Hey, might as well fuck this total stranger in a pandemic because, why not?" And then the worst part being, instead of just being a decent person and being honest, let me just attempt to gaslight you and be a dick. Dude, sounds really unpleasant. Today I fucked up by finding worms in my mouth. For the past month, I have been spitting out worms from my mouth ever so often. Went to see a doctor and he wasn't sure what it was to but gave me antibiotics to flush out whatever it is. However, I sneezed it out again today, haven't started eating antibiotics yet, and am actually starting to get worried about what's happening. The reason I say sneezed is because I sneezed in the toilet and looked down in the sink and to my horror realized the little devil was chilling inside. The worm is a translucent one, extremely thin and about 5 mm long. Its body seems to have multiple segments with a faint black line outlining the segments. I have picture and video evidence of this wriggly unwelcome intruder if that helps. TLDR, found mysterious worms in my mouth my doctor wasn't able to ID, might actually have a colony of worms living inside me. Edit 1, here's the link. The reason I did not visit the doctor until the third occasion was because I wasn't a 100% certain they came out of me. On every sighting, only a single worm was noticed, always when I was brushing my teeth. Did not feel anything wrong with me too. Will definitely be asked to be referred to a more specialized doctor. No, I haven't been eating anything dodgy off the side of the road. I'm from Singapore, with emo high hygiene standards. We do not, at least I think, have any dodgy gas stations or street vendors, but who knows. From the comments, my worm looks like a mothfly larvae. We'll be providing an update. Update 1, Doc isn't an idiot, stop bashing him. He issued me metronidazole, which is indeed an antibiotic, but is anti-parasitic too. It was my own fault for leaving the medication at work. Anyway, he has sent me to the A&D. What the fuck did I just read? This should be on /no-sleep lol. You've been spitting out worms for a month and you just started to get worried now? Right. I would have set my head on fire after the first one. Go to a different doctor. Antibiotics will not flush the worms. Antibiotics will help with a possible bacterial infection caused by the damage made by the worms. Velp, that's enough Reddit for today. Edit, thank you kind stranger. This is my first award. That's enough day for today. What the fuck have you been? Salad sandwich from a vending machine in a truck stop bathroom. Today I fucked up by literally waking up on the wrong side of the bed. So I got to bed very late last night, at around 4:00 am, but it wasn't until around 7 to 8 when I finally fell asleep. With the sun shining through the window I moved my pillow to the foot of the bed where I didn't have light directly in my eyes. I set my alarm for 11 and tried to fall asleep. At around 10:59 I apparently rolled out of bed. Now if I had fell off at the headboard end I would have just hit the floor and been fine. Instead being at the foot end of the bed I 1 hit my head on the desk at the end of the bed. 2 bruised my leftist cheek on impact with the floor. 3 my brick of a work computer fell off the desk and popped my shoulder out of joint. 4 to make matters worse as if to mock me my alarm started playing about 30 seconds after the computer fell on me. Luckily while out of joint my shoulder wasn't completely dislocated, and I was able to reset it. I'm also pretty sure I didn't give myself a concussion, still took a few naproxen sodium and have kept my head up. Too long didn't read, fell out of bed, brained myself, bruised my ass, dislocated my shoulder, and almost broke my computer. I'm so sorry, this is so funny. Like something out of Tom and Jerry. Oh I agree, if it was my brother who had this happen to him I'd have laughed as well. I am allergic to dust and can sneeze a lot when around even small amount of dust. I moved into this apartment and was unpacking, and I called my friend to help me out. She told me that she will clean the almirah and cupboards for me, but I said it's okay, it's not that dusty. Started cleaning the cupboard and first whiff of dust enters my nostrils and I sneeze so hard, I bumped my head on the wooden sharp edge of cupboard. Caused an open wound on my forehead. While trying to get away from the cupboard, with my eyes closed, I fell on my unpacked boxes crying in pain. My friend ran over to me, and after a moment of "are you okay" and stuff, we started laughing on my comical cleaning disaster. I once woke up, stood up and then fell over into a cabinet next to my bed, knocking it over and bruising my ass. Then I proceeded to stand up again and moved about 4 inches before completely fainting, only to wake up several minutes later to my mother slapping me in the face and screaming at me to wake up. I landed on and broke the printer which had been temporarily put in my room so I could do some printing. Was an expensive feint. So that's how they came up with that phrase. Ouch. Something similar happened to me, although much less injury. When I was like 17, I stayed up really late one night rearranging my bedroom. I had a full-sized bed, previously in the middle of the room. I typically slept diagonally in my bed and would get out of bed on the right side. After I rearranged my room, I had the right side up against a wall. At the time I was being treated for anxiety and mood swings. Some of the medications did not agree with me and I would often wake up confused or in a panic. Sometimes waking up in a panic like that was so severe, I'd literally jump out of bed, make a dead run for my parents' room, and burst open the door before I actually started to wake up. Morning after rearranging was one of the panicked mornings. I sat straight up in the middle of my bed and jumped up and out of bed and straight into the wall on the right side. Actually busted my lip and made my nose bleed a bit because I hit it hard.